Yesterday afternoon, shortly after 12 o'clock p.m., we had officers, 18 individual officers, including command staff, that was here on scene at Twin Peaks. That contingent of our officers included an assistant chief, it included sergeants, it included tactical officers, as well as a rookie officer. We also had 4 DPS officers, Texas Department of Public Safety officers, that were here with us. And I've said it, and I will say it again, those officers' reactions and their action to a very hostile, deadly situation saved our citizens' lives yesterday afternoon. We knew there were issues here at the Twin Peaks based on intel that we received about biker gangs being here. We've been here over the past 2 months because of the problems that we've had with biker gangs at Twin Peaks. I won't rehash the issues that we've had with management. You're all aware of that. We'll let the chips fall where they may on that, and they have some answering not only to do to y'all, but to our community as well. I can tell you, as they were here on scene watching for trouble, a disturbance erupted inside the restaurant. It started in the restroom, quickly escalated to the outdoor patio bar area. Shots were fired inside the restaurant by rival biker gang members at each other. We had wounded inside, we had people stabbed, we had people shot, and we had people beat. That disturbance moved into the parking lot very quickly. Our officers responded very quickly and appropriately. As we pulled up on scene, the shooting at individual bikers from bikers turned towards us. Our officers took fire and responded appropriately returning fire. The number of shots, who shot who, and all of that will be part of our investigative process. It won't be released right away. I can tell you we had 18 Waco officers and 4 DPS officers that were here on scene and were involved in a gunfight within a matter of seconds from the initial indication there was a disturbance inside. Those officers quickly gained control of a very violent scene and proned out or took numerous biker individuals into temporary custody. They called for additional backup, and we had numerous law enforcement agencies that responded to assist. If you can name an agency in McLennan County, they were here with us yesterday. That includes local, state, federal, and county officers. We had counties from our neighboring counties have assisted us as well in this entire investigation. All of those agencies are still here today and are still providing manpower and support to us. To that, we are extremely thankful for that. We've had a huge outpouring of support by our community, by our business members, and by our citizens. Whether it was bringing officers water or food, or sending us prayers via email or our Facebook or personal messages to the individual officers here. We are proud of our Waco community, and make no mistake about it, we are here to serve and protect them, and that happened yesterday with a huge contingent of law enforcement officers. Once we were able to get the scene under control, I mentioned to some of you that we had off-duty officers that were here shopping. Those officers responded as well, putting themselves in harm's way, even without the proper equipment to protect themselves. They saw officers and citizens in need, and they didn't second guess. They came straight to us and helped. We had officers coming in from off-duty, trying to provide support that they could. We had businesses bringing us items as we were here all throughout the night. Once we got the scene under control, we called in some various organizations to assist us with transport. We took over 170 individuals to our convention center where they were detained, and the investigation continued there. We had another large contingent of officers providing security at our convention center as we had threats for that area as well. I will tell you that area has now cleared. The convention center is no longer a processing center for us for individuals that we had detained. There is a lot of work yet to be done. I said initially this morning that we had arrested 192. I am correcting that number. It is a little bit lower. At last count, we have 170 individuals that we have arrested and are booking or have been booked into the McLennan County Jail. Those individuals are being charged with engaging in organized crime in reference to the shooting at Twin Peaks, which is a capital murder. It's a capital murder because of the number of victims that were killed in one episode here. Those individuals have all been transported. It will be a little bit of a process, obviously a little bit of a logistical process for the county to get them all booked in. You can obtain mugshots through McLennan County SO. I would assume at some point that they will release an entire list of names of individuals that are being booked in as well. The scene behind us today is pretty secure. I think y'all that were here last night with us and throughout the day saw a huge contingent of officers. You still see that today. There earlier were officers up on top of Twin Peaks providing security. I had some individuals were asking me, why is there officers up on the overpasses? They were providing security so we didn't have people having high ground on us. That has been started to slow down a little bit. We feel a little more secure here. This parking lot is still secure for only media and law enforcement personnel only. There still is a large contingent of SWAT officers here on scene providing protection for you all and providing protection for the detectives that are still processing the scene. All right, what's going on now? We are continuing to process a lot of evidence from our crime scene. I just talked to our crime scene sergeant, the unit supervisor. He has told me that we are using various agencies and their equipment as well as ours. We are in the process of diagramming every piece of evidence, every vehicle, every blood spot, every body that was there. The bodies have all been removed and sent away for forensics and for autopsy results. Our crime scene unit is working with the FBI, with ATF, with DPS, with all of the local organizations. And at this point, what they'll do is they're going to go through piece by piece and process evidence in that scene. They're working on the diagramming part of that now, which means if there's a bullet here, they diagram it and they measure it. If there's a blood splatter 3 feet away, they diagram and measure it. Obviously, that's going to take a while. They told me once that process is done, they're going to start towing vehicles away from the scene. There are probably 100 plus motorcycles that are involved in this. There are probably another 50 to 75 private vehicles that are involved in that. Some of those are suspect vehicles. Some of those are biker member vehicles. And some of them will be towed for evidence. And some of them will remain here as seen as they are not evidence value to us. You'll see that start at some point later in the afternoon. I asked the crime scene sergeant for a time on how long he thought we would be here today. His best guess that he could give us was we will be here till dark processing that scene still. I think at some point this evening we may be able to move away from that and we'll have gathered everything we can. Again, we're not in a rush. This is our scene, it's secure. We'll take the necessary time. We don't want to miss anything. This is obviously a very large investigation involving numerous agencies and organizations, and we're going to get it right. The McLennan County District Attorney Office was here early on yesterday. TABC was here early on yesterday, and those individuals have been instrumental in helping us obtain warrants and arrest 170 individuals. That is the count that I had as of coming up here to brief you. That number is going to be flexible. You have to understand that we had a large amount of people being processed and involved. Some of those names were the same last names, so that will give and take a minute amount. TABC has informed us that they have developed had the process implemented here where there is a 7-day shutdown of Twin Peaks for liquor sales. Somebody asked me earlier if they would be open to the general public. They will be open for food sales. I hope that they have the courtesy and respect for our citizens and the dead individuals there, that they will use this as a cooling off period and not be open for business. That is not our call. It is our desire they do that. It will be up to the management here whether they do that or not. We can tell you that they will not be allowed to have any liquor sales, and they will not be allowed to move any liquor in or out of that establishment for 7 days. TABC will continue their investigation, and additional things may be applicable as they go through their process. You will have to contact them for additional information on what they may or may not do. All right? We without a doubt, we want to make sure that we mention the media assistance that we had here yesterday was very good in getting information out quickly to our public. There was a significant danger here yesterday because of the amount of violence that occurred behind us here. We got word out through the media, who shared that with their public, their viewers, their readers, their Twitter and Facebook followers, and we started evacuating people from an entire outdoor mall shopping area in a very short amount of time. A lot of that was contributed to what y'all did. The law enforcement presence that we've had here today has been, we just can't brag on it enough. We have folks that are providing us whatever we need, whether it's resources, manpower, equipment, or just helping us out with mundane tasks such as providing water or running intel back and forth from the scene. I think that kind of brings us up to date.